Hey guys, what's up? It's iPhone here, and in today's video, we're going to be taking our first look at Dante. This is the latest Warframe to be added into the game with the Dante's Unbound update. Now, right out of the gate, this is probably one of the best initial frame releases that there's ever been because this frame is strong. He cannot die. He deals a lot of damage. He is just fun to play, and there's a lot of cool things about his kit that is different compared to other frames. So we're just going to go ahead, jump right in, talk about the ability. So his first ability is an Exalted Book, and you can see whenever we cast it there, we get a blue bar beneath our reticle, and this blue bar is our alt fire. So whenever it's full, we can go ahead and shoot out this wave. And this wave is quite strong. You go ahead and hold down your left click, dealing damage to enemies to build it back up again, and then you can just shoot it out. And as you can see, we deal quite a bit of damage from this distance just with this ability on its own. So whenever you pair this with the second, the third, and the fourth, it only gets pretty crazy. And these are Steel Path level 185. We don't even have all of our Mult Augmented stacks on. Kind of a spoiler that I'm running Mult Augmented, but hey, you can see it in the screen anyway. So let's just go ahead and talk about the rest of the kit. So, that is Noctua, his Exalted Book. The rest of his kit is really cool. So the second ability is called Lightverse, and this is Overguard. There's a cool mechanic that was added in the Warframe recently where you're knockdown immune, you're status immune, and it's basically a health bar on top of your health bar. So you have your Overguard, and then if you lose your Overguard, you then have your shield gating, and only then, if they get past both of those, can they touch your health. So whenever your shield gate gets triggered, just go ahead, cast this ability, and you get Overguard, and then your shield brigade or your shield gate can regen, and then rinse and repeat, and you basically never die. But that's just that ability, and as you can see, it doesn't give you a lot of Overguard. It gives you a little bit, but just wait. So the third ability, we're going to talk about it now. It applies slash procs, bad guys. And you're like, no big deal. My weapons can do that, whatever, right? But, again, hold up. Wait a minute. Dark Verse, that's what the third ability is called. Your fourth ability is actually an additional 4 abilities. And it amplifies the effects of your 2 and your 4, kind of, right? So, you've got Triumph, which you have to cast your 2 times to activate. You've got Tragedy, which you have to activate your 3 times to activate. You've got Word Warden, which you have to activate your 2 and then your 3 in that order to activate. And then you've got Page Flight, which you need to activate your 3 and then your 2, and then you can activate Page Flight. Okay? So it looks a little bit like this. So let's say I wanted to cast Triumph, which gives us even more Overguard. We cast 2, and then we cast 2, and then we cast 4. My Overguard just went from 3,815 all the way up to 16,000. And this actually applies to your allies as well. It's nuts. Let's go ahead and use Tragedy. So Tragedy basically makes all of your slash procs happen all at once. You use your 3, and then your 3, and then your 4, and you can see that we just dealt massive damage to all these enemies. You can use Viral, one-shot all of them, or you can build up more Mult Augmented stacks for more power strength, or apply more power strength. Lots of different things you can do to make that happen. So let's use the Word Warden, I think it's called. So that's a little sentinel. So you press your 2, and then your 3, and then your 4. And as you can see, we've got this little book, which is going to shoot at the enemies with us. This also applies to your allies as well. And then we've got our birdies. So we activate our 3 and our 2. This is Page Flight. And they go around and they attract fire from the enemies and also give you more status chance. I think that's the effect that they do. So I don't really bother with Word Warden, so our little Sentinel guy, or our birdies that often. My main focus whenever I'm playing this frame is on Tragedy and Triumph paired with the 1. So all I'm doing really is I'm using my 1. I'm going around, I'm dealing damage with the left click and the alt fire. Whenever I need Overguard, I'm doing 2, and then 4. And then as I'm running around with my little book and I want to like nuke a room of enemies, I'm spamming my book to apply viral. I'm pressing my 3. Maybe I'm using my alt fire, and then I'm pressing my 3 again, and then I'm pressing my 4, and everything is dying. And I'll show you guys what that sort of looks like with a full group of enemies here. So let's just go ahead, make sure everything is dead. Type in the heavy gunners. As you can see, the steel pathing is on. We're just going to go ahead and we have our one casted. We hold down our left click. We use our alt fire. We use our 3, 4, everything. Almost everything is dead. And if they're not dead, 3, 4 again. And they're all dead. So that's basically how you play them. And all of this stuff, it seems to go through walls. Maybe, you know, you're just that good at killing it. I don't know if it actually does go through walls, but, you know, if you keep on doing that combo, everything is going to die anyway, so it doesn't really matter. So moving on to the builds, we're going to talk about the Exalted Book build first, because I feel like that is the one that I'm probably going to get the most flack for. I'm not claiming these to be the best builds by any means. I'm just making what is fun, because I'm sort of done with going for the most optimal stuff in Warframe now. I just want to go for what is fun and, you know, at least a little bit practical, right? So I went for fire rate, and I'll show you guys why I went for fire rate. I go to my config B where I've got no fire rate mods. I bring up my 1, I hold down left click. Look how slow this is, right? With no fire rate mods at all. It sucks. So we go ahead and we use our alt fire. It's also quite slow. Building back up to that alt fire is quite slow. So it just is no fun without fire rate mods on there. So I would definitely run more fire rate. Your tolerance for a slow firing Exalted Book might be higher than mine, but what I did is I just went in and I threw on every single fire rate mod, and I took one off at a time, so the lowest value first, to see what was I comfortable with, and I just ended up on Lethal Torrent and Anemic Agility, and that's just what I've been rolling with. So you can build this book in so many different ways, but I wanted sort of like, you know, high burst DPS sort of. So I went for the Prime Pistol Gambit and the Prime Target Cracker to take advantage of the high base crit chance, which is freaking 30% there on the single fire, and then 45% on the alt fire. So it bumps it up pretty significantly. I've got my Prime Expel mod for just extra damage. Galvanized Diffusion, Lethal Torrent for multi-shot. Lethal Torrent also gives the fire rate plus an agility, even more fire rate. Frostbite Pistol Pestilence for the viral, which is going to pair well with the third ability and the fourth ability, tragedy form, if that makes sense. So that's that. You can do whatever you want with it. Honestly, you could go for a crit build for just raw numbers and stuff like that if you really wanted to. This is just what I landed on. And again, I'm not saying this is the most optimal build in the world, but this is just what I was finding fun and efficient for my playstyle with Dante. So yeah, it's kind of hard to nail down what is the most the most optimal nowadays, because we're sort of spoiled for choice in Warframes. There's lots of different things that you can do, and also it depends on the type of content that you're playing, right? Another cool thing about this book is you can throw these mods on. I forget what they're called, the category, but these all have like on kill effect or on alt fire effect, you know, stuff like that give different bonuses. You can just throw all of them on at the one time, or 2 or 3 or 4 or however many you like, and you can probably make some cool build using these. But this is just what I want to stick to, because this is what I find fun. Moving on to the Dante build itself, I opted for a lot of power strength and a lot of power range, because you need the range for the overguard casting, because that applies to your allies, and also for the spamming of the third ability and the nuking from the fourth, you know? So overextended is on there, auger reach is on there. You can run overextended because we're running so much power strength anyway, plus molt augmented counteracts it quite a bit. Prime continuity, because the base duration on the abilities is quite high, so you don't really need much. So if we go ahead and we cast our Word Warden, so that is our 2, and then our 3, and then our 4, like so, you can see that the duration up there is 57 seconds, which is pretty fine, you know, so you don't really need much more than that. Flow and Equilibrium for my sustain plus Arcane Energize is totally fine by me, and that is pretty much the build. Now, there is an argument that's been made for running efficiency because you are going to be spamming your abilities, but I found that with Energize, Flow, and Equilibrium, I have more than enough energy at all times anyway. Your drain on your Exalted Book is per shot, so, you know, as long as you're being conscious of that and picking up your energy orbs and stuff, you should be fine. You know, like I haven't ran out of energy with this build. I've been using it in Netra cells and stuff like that. I've been unkillable. I've been nuking entire rooms. It's pretty much good to go, you know. So I have no problem with just sticking to this build. You can tweak it in whichever way you want. You can add more formative run like a prime flow or something, or you know, maybe you just want to use different mods. Maybe you want to use stretch over auger reach. It's entirely down to you. The only other thing to mention is his passive. So Noctua scans targets, recording information for your codex. So status chance increases by 50% on fully scanned targets. So he's a really, really, really strong, fun frame from the get-go. And I don't know, like DE really knocked it out of the park with this one. So go ahead, cast your alt fire, hold down your left click a little bit, you know, use your 2 twice and then your 4 to get your overguard, and then use your 3 twice to apply the status or the slash procs. I'm gonna go ahead and apply more viral here and then press your 4 and everything is dead. And that's without Mult Augmented being fully stacked up now. Your overguard value is going to increase as your Mult Augmented stacks increase. The amount of damage that you deal with your book is going to increase with the amount of Mult Augmented stacks. The amount of damage from the slash procs, all of that is just going to go up as you get to that 250 kill threshold for the max Mult Augmented, because it gives you 60% extra power strength. So really good frame, really good, really fun, really survivable. Would I put a helmet ability on? Nah, probably not. I don't think it's really worth it. The only thing you really lacks is armor strip, and it's like, do you really need it with the amount of damage that you're dealing? Like, it's all in slash procs and viral procs and stuff like that. So, I don't know, man. Let someone else armor strip. That's pretty much it. Thanks for watching the video. Like it if you liked it. Dislike it if you didn't. Hit subscribe for more Warframe content. And I'll see you guys in the next one.